Warning: the following video might contain some content that might not be suitable for younger viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. Hi, I must tell you this story. Do you know the film called Inside Out? It's a film about five emotions inside 11-year-old Riley Anderson, but I couldn't recover what Pixar show us one day. As we can tell right now, the film tells the story of Riley, a happy, hockey-loving 11-year-old Midwestern girl, but her world turns upside down when she and her parents move to San Francisco. Riley's emotions led by joy, she and her friends try to guide her through this difficult life-changing event. However, the stress of the move brings sadness to the forefront, when joy and sadness are immediately swept into the four regions of Riley's mind. The only emotions left in headquarters are anger, fear, and disgust. But I'm not here to tell you all about what happens in the movie. This is a story about a missing Inside Out sequel. I was an intern at Pixar Animation Studios back in 2016. It wasn't until last year I was nominated Artist of the Year for my creative ideas. The best I ever did was character rotations, similar to Toy Story, when the characters are turned to a curtain position. But what I didn't know is that somebody said something about this sequel of Inside Out. They didn't even make the trailer about the film. According to John Lasseter, in this Inside Out sequel, he did not want Riley Anderson to be 15. He wanted her to stay 11. I even made a private poster for the film. I worked so hard on it. Pixar must give me at least some credit, or even a plus on it. One day, John Lasseter came into my office and told me that he found a secret DVD called Riley.EXE. I was guessing that it was our alternate edition of Inside Out. Indeed, it was. As if we can call everyone to come watch this alternate print of Inside Out. Mr. Lasseter said yes. He got everyone in the viewing room. I was the one who had to put the DVD in because that's my job. Then I realized that there were previews on the DVD. The previews were Cars 3, Pirates of the Caribbean 5, and Queen Cat-Wee. The Disney and Pixar logos were shown, but there was no opening credits. Just a picture of a noose while the opening theme played in reverse. The film's title said Inside Out Profanity. It showed the Anderson's house. It was night. It showed the inside of the house. Riley's mother and father were in there. There was no music, just the sound of wind. It showed Mrs. Anderson crying, and her eyes turned into balls of blood. They drip out of her sockets. I started to feel sick, and I vomited inside my mouth. The sound of wind was silent, and Riley's parents started talking. We had to leave Riley home alone. Murder's music, no sound, just wind and crying. Mrs. Anderson cried even more, but her voice started to sound deeper. She went completely silent, and she was still crying, just not making any sound. Mr. Anderson eventually died. He lied on the floor, missing his eyes. Mrs. Anderson isn't very happy about what they were doing to Riley. She began to cry blood. It showed him in the car in the next scene. Riley was messing around, taking happy feels, and she was laughing. Her voice sounded deep, her head slowly spins, and her eyes were black voids. Riley started growing her mouth. Her black voids disappeared and turned to her regular eyes, and she says, "No, no, no, no." Pete Doctor was freaked out, and then Riley jumps out the window. The feint is, she lands on her feet. Then it shows a cartoon with a nuclear bomb landing of the city of Seattle. I don't know who exactly made that cartoon. I wasn't sure because I'm a post-production manager on most films. Then it went back to the movie. But what happened next made me jump out of my seat. In this scene, Riley was sleeping without any clothes on her bed. She got up and walked up to the kitchen. She grabbed a container of chocolate ice cream and went to the living room. I don't understand what was happening. This didn't seem scary. Riley turns off the TV and puts in a tape that said Squidward's S word. What? Why is there a Nickelodeon reference in the Pixar movie? I shrugged it off and continued watching. The screen faded to black for 14 seconds before some text font that was from the THX logo a few years ago. The text said, You've come way. Here's what you're going to see next." As the text faded, the sounds of the Lost SpongeBob episode played. They showed a picture that scared the heck out of me, and the rest out of the interns. It showed Riley, but she had bloodshot eyes, and her teeth were a complete monster. She was standing behind ink boards that all was green. The scene stayed on for about the entire movie until it came to the credits. While the sound still played throughout, the credits only listed written by Stanley Griffin. This was a terrible experience for me. I decided to quit. So I did. Goodbye. So that was Riley.EXE, a Inside Out Creepypasta, and man, that was like a very generic but pretty awful creepypasta. It's like taking so many cliches from like other creepypastas that has like this terrible amount of cliches into this story that was supposed to be like a Inside Out creepypasta. Like, just imagine imagine like a good Inside Out creepypasta that has so much heart and soul and making it like good but can't be scary at the same time. But here, it's just your generic lost episode creepypasta story, like especially the THX ones. You know, this is basically like those THX creepypastas that are just felt so generic as heck. And yeah, some parts are kind of ridiculously silly than scary, like freaking Riley just eating chocolate ice cream without any clothes on. Like, that's a bit weird, but kind of disgusting. And seeing Riley without any clothes on, and also freaking Squidward's S word reference. Like, yeah, that's like, no, that going too far. I'll just like reference that. Supposedly a good creepypasta in this terrible creepypasta that was supposed to be Inside Out related, but yeah. So anywho, guys, so I just hope you guys enjoy this creepypasta reading. So next time I might read a good creepypasta that wasn't this. You know, like, look, this. So anywho, like and comment this video and subscribe my content. And this is Mr. Freddy here, and I hope you have a very good day. So see ya.